Check, check. Check 1, 2. Checkity check. Alright, I hope the sim sounds aren't going to be too loud. I hope the sim sounds aren't check, check. Check 1, 2. Alright. Welcome to anyone that might be joining me for this impromptu test stream. For those that may have noticed, I've took a bit of an extended break from streaming, primarily because the internet connection here in or where I stay at the moment, I don't know, something went wrong, and the upload speeds were just horrendous. It just became not just impractical, it just became impossible to stream. Since then, they have actually managed to get the internet working again. And I do kind of miss streaming, talking to my imaginary following. So plan on getting into it again. I know the latest and greatest craze is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. This obviously is not. That's not to say that I do not plan on switching over at some point. Looking at the other flight sim YouTubers, it seems like there are still some teething issues that need to be ironed out, as well as, I mean, most of my favorite aircraft are not yet compatible with the sim, the new sim. Uh, and that's not even, including the airports. I have my home country, South Africa, populated with a ton of custom airports. I have where I live currently in the Middle East, populated with a ton of airports, as well as custom city buildings, which are quite iconic to the region. And as far as I can tell, um, efforts are still in uh, in the works to get those items to cross over into the new sim. And that is also assuming that they will, you know. Um, there's no guarantee that my favorite airports will be passed on into the new sims, and that would be very sad for me. I really do enjoy flying in the areas that I am most familiar with. Having said that, I do need to branch out more to places that I do not frequent. A prime example of this is this beautiful airport um, somewhere in the US. As mentioned, this is an impromptu stream. No planning has gone into it whatsoever. I'm just testing out the software and taking up an aircraft that I haven't flown in ages. This is the Cessna 310, I believe, from Milviz, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, Blackbird Simulations. Um, Understated aircraft. I think it's actually a really good aircraft, and it's a pity that I don't fly it more often. I mean, as you can see, it's got its own EFB. I think this was one of the original aircraft that came out with a like a cabin management system where you actually had to um, make an effort to control the temperatures inside the aircraft to keep it comfortable for the passengers. As you can see, it's quite cold outside. It's now winter in the US. And as you can see, let's see if I hit the magic Barra rev key. Yeah, we are at least 5,000 feet above sea level, so chilly conditions out here. Um, as I started the stream, the aircraft was completely frozen over. It seems like, I don't know, the temperature must have changed because the frost has melted, which is a good sign for us, as it bodes well for the aerodynamics of the aircraft. Also, I currently have some sort of flu. Um, so if you seem to think that my voice sounds a little different, that's why. I generally have pretty bad sinus, um, hay fever, that sort of thing throughout most of the year. And that just gets compounded whenever I get a cold. So I won't be doing much talking. I generally say that and then end up doing a lot of talking anyways, but I'm going to turn off the mic and let you enjoy the sounds and the sights along with me as we just fly around the area. I might jump into another aircraft type before signing off, just to explore some of the older um, add-ons to the sim. That is to say, my latest idea for future streams going forward would be to, or will be to review, I won't say all the add-ons, but most of the add-ons that I've purchased for Flight Simulator 2020. We'll be jumping into them one by one, taking them up for a short little flight, various airports that I also downloaded over the past couple of years, and just to kind of reflect, not really review, just reflect and, you know, take that with us into the next sim as we hope for um, or look forward to many of the improvements advertised over the last few weeks. So with that said, let's get the aircraft started up and airborne and sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. Thank you for joining me if you have tuned in now or at a later date. I appreciate any support at this point. Yeah, enjoy, and we'll probably chat again a little bit later.
Clear prop.
All right, to just keep you guys from being in complete silence while there's no activity going on in the screen, I'll just explain that I'm going through the weather report at the moment. This is McCall Municipal in the United States. Currently there's no winds, just very cloudy. I'll hopefully try and remember to remove the mic from my mouth every time I need to cough. Current temperature is -3 with a dew point of -4. Current QNH is 3013, and that's set. This is like a cold weather correction table here with the Navigraph charts. I've never actually used one of these before. So the reported temperature is, we'll say, around 0. Closer to 0 than it is 10. The height above the airport so let's say we'll fly 6,000 feet for pattern altitude. That means we'll be 1,000 feet above the airport. And the value comes up to 90. So what does that mean? That's 90 more than what's advertised? Anyways, I'm just gonna grab the charts. I'd say it's really nice to have sectional charts in Navigraph. Nice thing to have. All right, so winds are calm. We're going to use runway 166, of course. Right about there. I wish the heading bug would move fast as well. Maybe if I hold it down. Nope, still slow. So this doesn't look like one of those HSIs that you would manually align. So, all right. I think we're good as is. The Unicom is 122.8 conveniently. And we'll squawk 1200 for VFR. Instruments are set otherwise. I don't think there's any. There is a VOR nearby on a mountaintop, 1162. Let's tune that in case we get lost. And looks like we're already picking up at our DMEs. No instrument approaches, just RNAV approaches, which we will not be using. Alright, hopefully the engines are warming up here. Let's see what the temperatures are looking like. So oil temperatures in the green somehow already. Pressure's still good. Cylinder head temperatures are creeping into the green, which is good. We can start doing our run-up soon. By the time we reach the runway, we'll be able to do that. Let's just test to make sure that all my controls are mapped correctly. Oops. It's already there. I've caught something off. I think my HOTAS is still set for the Airbus. Alright. So we've leaned the mixture because we are at higher altitude. In addition to us wanting to lean the mixture anyway on the ground while we're at close to idle. Let's check to see if our flight controls are correctly mapped. So interestingly enough, excuse me, flaps are like underneath the wing, not part of the thing, so to speak. Only two settings. Cow flaps I'm keeping closed for now, just to keep everything nice and warm. Speaking of which, we probably need to worry about the inside of the cabin. As you can see, it's pretty cold in here, so let's turn on a heater. And open up whatever else we can. I think you want to keep, I don't know if you want to keep that open or closed. Defroster, keep, temperature, control, I don't know what that is. We'll see if that helps. Alright, let's go. right? I reckon that was a little bit of fun. Didn't expect the engine to kick so, or at least not the engine, but the aircraft to swing so violently um, once I failed the right engine. I mean, it's not, it shouldn't be surprising. I mean, you're running at full power. If you're going to lose an engine shortly after takeoff, I suspect that is something that would happen, and is part of what makes an engine failure so dangerous. I mean, if you could, I guess, potentially induce a stall on that wing that retreats back like that, and you know, that would obviously be a very bad thing, especially considering you're very close to the ground, low speed, trying to climb out and avoid obstacles. So, but yeah, luckily that didn't happen. I don't really practice these type of emergencies, so yeah, thought it was fun just to give it a go. Basically, I think one of the important things to, or one of the most important things to do is before you intervene, obviously try and fly the airplane first, right? Aviate, navigate, communicate, as they say. Try and stabilize the aircraft as best as you can. Um, and then confirm, I mean, double check that you are sure of which engine has failed before you take action. Because there have apparently been instances where people have shut down the wrong engine. And considering your only lifeline or remaining lifeline during a single engine failure is your remaining engine, arguably, um, yeah, you want to make sure you don't remove your only remaining hope of a safe crash landing, or ideally a safe return landing at the airfield. Winds were calm today, so that's why I just did a 180, nice gentle 180 to the back to the airport under power. Um, and I think the approach was pretty good for the most part. I tried to trim her out with the rudder trim, but still, I don't know, the trim on this aircraft, as you may have noticed me fiddling with the settings, a little bit oversensitive. It's a bit jerky. I don't know what's going on with that. Excuse me, but managed to keep it coordinated with the pedals. I don't know what happened during the flare. I was anticipating that the yaw would even out as I brought her to idle, but we ended up, maybe because I was trimmed with the rudder trim, it sort of had me crabbing to the side of the runway. Anyways, that highlights why it's important to practice these things, so or at least in a flight simulator environment. But yeah, otherwise it was really fun. I miss this aircraft. The sounds are immaculate. Um, she handles okay. But yeah, I mean, she looks and sounds amazing. Um, what more is there to say? I mean, this is one of the things in me trying to review aircraft for the simulator. I would always leave out, look, like I generally, generally I look for three things, right? The aircraft has to look good, it's got to feel good, it's got to sound good. Not necessarily in that order. And two out of the, excuse me, 2 out of 3 makes for a decent flying experience, but obviously we would like 3 out of 3. And I've never been able to actually um, flight simulator aircraft as feeling good. Um, by default, I just consider them all to feel really strange. You know, the usual lack of inertia that you get with Flight Simulator 2020. I feel like a lot of developers have tried very hard to rectify that, to make their aircraft feel um, like it actually has mass, especially these lighter GA aircraft that just feel like they're, you know, light as a feather. Um, I understand that, you know, these aircraft are light, relatively speaking, but I mean, there should still be some sense of weight, some sense of inertia, and, you know, you don't really get that in the sim. So that's why I don't generally comment on the handling characteristics of aircraft in Flight Simulator 2020. and is one of the things, therefore, that I look forward to for Flight Simulator 2024, where apparently the handling has improved significantly, both on the ground and in the air. So I'm really looking forward to that. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, generally speaking, not that this is a review, but this is an excellent aircraft. Handling characteristics aside, I'm not going to blame the developers for that. Um, Also, obviously, I don't really have any experience flying a 310, so I wouldn't really be able to comment on that. But she looks amazing. I mean, the score is 10 out of 10 for looks, and you can actually make her look more weathered, right? I mean, if you look here on the tablet, let's see if I can find it here. You can make this aircraft super dirty, and you'll find that there's some stuff on the floor like leaves. There was a bottle rolling around, and it's actually rolling around in flight, which I find amazing. Some, what's that, a piece of paper? And look at the outside now. She looks really old, like she hasn't had a wash in a long time, a paint job in a long time. I mean, this looks amazing. I love weathering on aircraft in flight simulators, just because without it, they just look like toys. You know, this adds character to the aircraft. So let's see what she looks like um, if we make her super clean. Yeah, I might have noticed actually the windows got cleaner, and yeah, look at her now, spick and span as if she got a new paint job. Maybe not even quite that clean, but clean enough that she looks brand new, beautiful. Love it. And like I said, um, still a decent amount of weathering still present to give it that realism. For me, it just adds to the realistic look of the aircraft. You know, versus something like the aircraft back there, which just looks too clean and looks, you know, like a prop, which it is. But you don't want your aircraft, the flyable aircraft in the sim, to look like a prop. And this thing is beautifully simulated. The cockpit, I have to say, is good. There's this thing I've never really been able to put my finger on. Excuse me. And that is, there's like an uncanny valley with some of the cockpits in Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator. They look photorealistic, but they don't feel photorealistic. So looking at over in this direction, maybe it's because of these displays. I think these displays kind of ruin it. These avionics displays, they look a little, I don't know, simplified, cartoonish. Um, I guess, yeah, if you just look at the panels individually, the flight panels, I mean, this looks amazing. With the reflections and the weathering, this looks good. I'd say this looks photorealistic. But I think it's sometimes maybe just the scale, the size of the gauges, um, and the fact that they look really clean, that it sometimes gives it this sort of real fake, um, uncanny appearance. Um, See, I feel like you'll notice that in a lot of the default aircraft in 2020, it's like photorealistic cockpits, especially when it comes to the lighter aircraft. Um, but with some of the third-party developers, I don't know, I feel like it does have this uncanny look to it. But beyond that, I'd say this is like a 9 out of 10 cockpit. I mean, she's gorgeous. The fabric, the leather, the different colors, again, the weathering. Um, just the switches are so beautifully modeled. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the circuit breakers all work. I mean, this product is basically, I'd say 10 out of 10, right? I'm really nitpicking with this Uncanny Valley crap. It's excellent. Look at the scratches there on the dash. It's fantastic. This aircraft, if I were just to give it an overall rating, it's 10 out of 10. She looks brilliant. She sounds excellent. This wasn't supposed to be a rating, I mean a review video, but I think that's what they're going to turn into, these little memory flights, as I, over the next few weeks, intend to take up all the various add-ons that I installed or included in my simulator experience here. Some of the ones that I've flown very commonly, and those that, like this one, that I haven't really flown often enough. Um, and again, it's not because of any issue with the aircraft, it's just that I prefer to fly certain other types more. Um, and that's it. I mean, yeah, great aircraft. I hope they bring her over to 2024, especially with the new walk-around mechanic and being able to, pre-flight the aircraft. That's something I really look forward to, just to give you kind of a sense of all the different types of features you get with this aircraft. I mean, you could load her up with full of passengers. Oh my goodness, I didn't know we had 6 people, could fit 6 people in here. And they actually change. There's an African American lady behind me earlier. So you can fill her up. You can actually put baggage. You can remove the bags from inside the baggage compartments. Really, it's just this is an excellent aircraft. Excellent aircraft. I mean, I can't say it enough. Well done to, I think, what is it, Blackbird? I get confused with Blackbird, Mill, Viz, and Black Square. All favorite developers of mine. I think Milviz went turned into Blackbird, I think. I can't remember. Anyways, bottom line is amazing aircraft. Anything with the Blackbird stamp on it, I'm a big fan of. I think the T6 is one of their products. I love the T6. It's just such a pity that they went for the T6 instead of the PC9 variant, which would open it up to a lot more liveries, and allow me to fly it in different parts of the world without feeling like I'm out of place. But anyways, that's a story for another day. Thanks to anyone that may have joined me for this sim, and I hope you will look forward to the, how can I put it? Is it like the walk down memory lane streams ahead in the future? Unfortunately, I only have one more day off tomorrow, and I'll probably not spend it on the computer. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to stream tomorrow a little bit, but yeah, got real world commitments nagging at me, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next stream.